What's up, guys? I'm going to go over something that is pretty important, and that is when to know you're starting to cut corners in your program, when to know you're getting away from the basics, because it's easy to do, right? Staying on a meal plan is hard, staying up to date on your training, beating those numbers week in and week out. Some days we just want to sleep in and not do anything, right? But the truth is, fast forward into the future, that's not going to make our future selves happy. If we're serious about our goals, then everything we do should be in alignment with where we're going, right? So I'm going to give you guys 5 different tips to look out for, red flags really I should call them, to look out for when you're doing your program and you start to slip up a little bit and you start to cut corners and you might not even realize you're doing it, all right? So these are some red flags to look out for. The first red flag is losing touch with your accountability. So maybe you're on this journey with a friend, maybe you're doing this with a spouse, or maybe you're invested enough that you've hired a coach. If you start losing contact with them, or maybe downplaying how important it is that you're checking in with them, that's a red flag that you're starting to cut corners, that you're starting to lose your momentum. Even if months have gone by with your coach and you feel like every time you check in with them, nothing really happens, it's the same thing, but you're on track and you say, well, it's not a big deal for me to skip checking in this week. That's a red flag, because if it's been working up to this point, you want to keep it going, right? So if you're on your A game, you're checking in with your accountability buddy, whether that's your coach, your partner, whatever it is. That's your first red flag. Second red flag is you stop logging stuff. I am notorious for this. I get myself in a routine with food and I tell myself I don't need to log it anymore because I eat the same thing every day. But the truth is, it never fails. Within a week, there are extra things I'm starting to put in my mouth, or extra ways that I'm starting to weed my way around my clean meals. All right. So if you're adamant about logging and all of a sudden you realize you're skipping a day here and there, or you're downplaying something that you're putting on the list, that's another red flag. Okay. Third red flag is looking for the easier ways. If you start, again, downplaying, that word kind of keeps coming up. If you start downplaying, again, certain ways that you're cutting corners. Say, for instance, your first meal. You have a healthy fat and a protein. Maybe it's egg whites, egg, and an avocado. But you're sick of eating the avocado, right? And say you start getting your fat from bacon in the morning. It's a silly thing, and bacon's not going to kill you. It's not a big deal. Bacon's not a bad food. There's not good and bad foods. This is all about aligning you with your goals. So, therefore, if your goals are to get lean or to grow muscle, and you are now incorporating bacon regularly, this is just one example, that's not doing anything for you, right? That's sort of hindering you a little bit. So when we start looking over the important details, trying to take the easier way out, talking ourselves out of doing those extra sets, talking ourselves out of doing those extra reps, maybe even skipping entire recovery work or something like that. When we skip out on those important details, that's another red flag, because details matter. That, I swear, you guys, that is what separates the winners from the average people. Okay? I joke, but I'm being serious too. Okay, and that goes along with the fourth point, which is downplaying the importance of your program. I don't know if you guys have ever been around somebody, maybe it's a friend or, somebody you're just talking to, and you start talking about your fitness journey. And I've actually heard people glamorize, falling off of plan. They'll say something like, yep, I ate a half a gallon of peanut butter and I don't even care. Or, something like, yep, I put a good old extra scoop of chocolate in my shake and I wasn't even upset about it. When you start to get into that little attitude where you're almost like resentful against your program, that's the fourth red flag. So these are really discreet, and we do it all the time to an extent. We might make jokes here and there. We might forget to log something, but this is just when these things start happening regularly, that it's something to look out for. And the final thing, and this is the big one, y'all, losing our gratitude for our program. Once we start to resent the process, we don't enjoy it, we're pissed about it, we lose our gratitude. We forget what a privilege it is to have the means to bodybuild, to have the resources to fuel our bodies, we lose our gratitude for this process. That's the biggest red flag of all. Every morning, we should start our day being grateful, first of all, that we woke up, and second of all, that we have amazing bodies that work for us for this process. So we all have struggles, we all have difficulties, but if we can stay grateful, we overcome them. So look out for these red flags. If you see that they're happening, straighten back up. No big deal. We all do it. But don't let them go unchecked. Otherwise, your future self is not going to be as happy as it can. Y'all be good. Stay powerful.